Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay
everyone?
calm.
What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody calm down.
Help!
Here,
Oh,
take my hand.
come
on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
No, give me your other hand.
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand.
No, get it away from me.
Take it. Take my hand.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rollin' round the bend.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
At the dawning of civilization, there was a great king. His name was Gilgamesh. Bored, he would force the young men until they dropped from. So the people of Uruk cried out to the gods, and the gods heard them. They fashioned a wild man out of water, and they named him Enkidu. His body was matted with hair like an animal's. He cavorted with the gazelles at the watering hole. Meanwhile, Gilgamesh walked down the streets of Uruk. But when he got to the door of the house, he found that someone had the impudence to stick their out and block his way. Looking up, he saw Enkidu before him. Without a word, they lunged at each other. They in the street, their titanic frames making the houses shake as they threw one another into walls and pummeled each other into buildings. Exhausted, they each rolled aside and lay panting in the street. But Gilgamesh recovered first. He was impressed by Enkidu's and as Enkidu stood, Gilgamesh offered him not just his hand, but his
Rob is not impressed.
What the fuck was
Why don't
that?
you have a sense of humor, Rob?
You destroyed it, Mike.
We can learn mythology and history in a humorous way.
Is that the story that got
liked it?
Is that the story that got you hooked on Gilgamesh?
That was the that's the alternate version. That's the censored version. Just some nicely timed bleeps is all you need. How's it going? I wasn't sure you were going to make it.
Yeah, I thought I'd keep you waiting today.
Yeah, that's what Shanth and I thought. Welcome to the show, Shanth. Hello, everybody.
Hey guys.
I've misplaced my normal drawing glove. I've got this tiny one on. It barely fits my hand. I got the wrong size the first time I got it, so I feel really weird, but I can't find my other one. We will be working tonight. Shanth looks like he's working on the Masquerade by Phil Diaz and Brandon Diaz. Very cool. I'll be doing some coloring, I think, because I mean, I play the Gilgamesh thing. That scene is the scene that's going to be on my teaser trailer. So I probably should get the colors sorted at some point. Before we jump in, let's say hello to people in the chat. We got Micro here. He claims first, but he knows we don't do first on these streams. But I'll take it anyway. Nonetheless, we got Intense Webs in here. He says the Legion is here. I'm not familiar with the Legion, but welcome. Junkyard Dog is here. DTP Token. Jeremy Burt says let's draw, indeed, or color, or paint, whatever takes your fancy. What will you be doing, Rob?
I'll be sitting here for 2 hours doing nothing.
He can't even write. Can't you do something with your hands while you're here? Other than,
I mean, I could
talk to the chat. I
thought that's what the thumbnail was about.
Yeah. Did you like the thumbnail, Rob?
Mate, you are so infuriating. You have no idea how infuriating you are. Not
Why?
3 weeks ago did I do that same thumbnail, and you're like, "Oh, welcome to the '90s, Rob." That meme's dead. And then he just
My
whips it out 3
hypocrisy.
weeks later.
My hypocrisy knows no bounds. We know that. We've got Bretsky the Great in the house. Here's B Rose. Here's Indie Wrestling Aces. Who else do I spy in here? American Comics. Hail, Mo Biggs. What else can I see? Scrolling down, there's Stephen Rockwood. Bancroft checking out Shanth's ass. That's right. I mean, he's in a dress, so I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna see what he's packing down there.
Exactly.
Right. Let's keep going. Keep going. People are chatting in the chat here. Woodrow. Goddamn, I forgot how sick dunk contests were. Hail the chat. As in real dunk contests?
Yeah, dude.
Like Michael Jordan and stuff.
There's this like Canadian guy who's like sick. He leaps over like cars and like 6 foot tall dudes. You should see it.
I watched a thing that apparently Jordan still has the longest jump to kind of hang time, air time out of anyone ever. I didn't expect that, but when you look at the video, I guess it's right. We've got Athline here, John's in here, SDA, Linkovich, Chomosky. Who else? There's Skip Edwards Art asks, what is this? It's our create stream. It's our creation stream. Rob, I changed my hold on a sec. I changed my Twitter, whatever it is, profile thing. Do you want to see it?
I mean, potentially.
Look at that. It says, "Don't hate, create."
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's worth it. Good job.
It's my motto. It's my new motto. That's what this corner of Comicsgate is all about. I mean,
like last week, right? I'm like, oh, dude, sorry, I should have probably asked you before I invited Eric Kennedy on, and you're like, yeah, no biggie. And today, I'm like, is Shanth coming on? Because like you haven't told me, and you're like.
Would you have said no if I asked?
No, I wouldn't have said anything. It's just like,
so what does it matter?
Double standards, Mike. You're full of so many double standards.
Double standards and hypocrisy. Mo says that version contained way less anal games than Bancroft's. No, there'll be none of that. Hello, Christopher John. Great to see you in the chat. I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. Hold on a sec. Well Hung and Dung says, I'm manly, the most manly.
I love his profile pic. It looks like he's just killed like 4 people.
Has he got a bit of my serial killer look on as well?
He does.
I like it. Has anyone seen Frager? Yeah, I think he put out a video. He's moving, and he still sounds sick. So I think he got the coof bad.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, he was down and out. He was down and out for the count for over a month. We got Aerith in the house. Legion of Coom. Man, there's a lot of latent erotic tension going on both in the panel and in the chat tonight. Antoine Dennison says hello. Bancroft forgot the camera was on when he asked that. I need to get caught up with the chat here because I don't know what people are referring to. My goodness, it's very big. Don't hate, masturbate. That's Simply Green's version. I'll go with don't hate, create. I think it's appropriate at the moment. There's a whole big scuffle going on with YouTubers and Comicsgate and everything at the moment. It all comes down to there is. Where have you been, Bob? To me, it all comes down to let's turn our attention away from complaining and turn it towards creating. That's the way I see it.
It's unfortunate
that would kind of put you out of business, Rob.
Dude, I've got 2 rants ready to go.
Yeah, you got. I know you do. I know you do. We've been sort of chatting. We've got Mr. Carl Ritter, and of course I'm coloring, and Carl Ritter turns up. For God's sake!
You know, it'd be even better if he was on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
He's fine there in the chat. Did I see the latest Ballers with Drunk Shane? I did. Well, I was on Camel Nights at the time, but I went back and I did see him fall off the chair, and I saw him drinking effusively from the tiger mouth. We got Gabe in the chat as well.
What's up, brother?
Let's join. Can we get Matt Yaki in here too? Come all.
You missed a good one from Simply Green. When in doubt, rub one out.
This is all good advice. This is all good stuff. Shanth, do you want to tell the good folks what you're doing before we let Rob go off on his rant?
Yeah, sure. I was just doing some work on this painting I was doing for Phil Diaz, just for fun of his character, which is the Masquerade, throwing down some values. And then my plan after that, which I'm getting close to after that, I'm just going to do a couple more things on it for tonight. I've got a big blank canvas panel here, and I'm going to start working on a concept for a Gilgamesh painting. So that's my plan.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Rob? Gilgamesh painting.
Gilgamesh. Kyle says, LOL, I don't know if Michael would listen to Gabe, but he never listens to me anyway.
Correct.
So want to send him the link. That would be
but
so much fun.
If I listen to Kyle, there'd just be moons all over the Lucent. It's like everywhere, you know. We're inside, doesn't matter. Put a moon in there. So
Malin says Rob's
I gotta
beard
go my own way.
Demands a blood sacrifice. Damn right.
I noticed that as I was cutting out your beard for the thumbnail. It's getting. I don't know. Are you vying for one of the roles of the dwarfs in the magical mystical dwarfs in the Snow White thing?
Yeah, I mean lowercase f Peter Dinklage. I mean, really?
Yeah.
What a tool.
It always backfires like that. It's like the time that all the trans activists got upset because Scarlett Johansson was playing a trans character. And it's like, this should be played by a trans character. And then they're like, you realize the only reason the movie's getting made in the first place is because Scarlett Johansson's attached to it. And if you take her off it, it doesn't get made. And lo and behold, it didn't get made.
If I can,
Antoine picks it up. Antoine got it.
Yep. Can I just say this though? I think that's a little bit like the fact that what I feel personally is that if Ethan wasn't in Comicsgate, that all of his fans would be my fans. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just throwing it out there. It's a lot like the Scarlett Johansson situation. We get rid of Scarlett and it's still going to work just the same with someone else. You slide right into place. It's like ridiculous.
I feel it, Shanth.
Of course.
You say it till you make it.
Exactly. That's right. Todd's going to be here tonight.
This was the that was the theme for my show. I had one of the best weeks out of my whole YouTube streaming career the other week.
That was awesome.
Because
I
asked, I believed, and I received 2 out of 3 times. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
What are you, The Secret?
Yes, I mean I did a whole thing on that. I actually started with The Secret. And I put my name in there and everything.
I think we've got a Twitch spammer in chat. That's interesting.
Huh.
Tommy says, I'm starting to think Bancroft has something against wheelchairs.
Yeah.
So Bancroft, what's going on here?
What do you mean what's going on here? It's a
panel. Could you've chosen any more boring colors to look at visually? Brown and less brown?
This is without the sunlight coming in. These are my old colors, by the way. So this is essentially what I'm going to do is what I did for the last book. So these are my older colors. So I'm going to try and give them a little bit more pop and pep.
Good
and then I'm going to. Am I getting spammed to hell? Can I block?
Oh, man, it's bad. Can someone time him out or no?
No, just block him. Don't time him out. Just get rid of him.
I mean, that sunlight has got a lot of work to do, mate.
I've got sunlight. I just haven't. It was I just got to do the right things with it.
There you go. That's slightly better.
Well, everything in its good time. This takes me back, doesn't it, to True Coloring Replicator? Everyone's like, oh, you should do this, this, and that. And I'm like, we're just starting here. Come on, guys. Let's take things in good course.
Kyle says agreed, Rob. This
Can I
is
get a ban on colorists in my chat, please?
This is Painted Death. This is Lucent 2.
Yes, indeed. This is the second panel, actually.
Nice.
Dude, I think it is hilarious that out of all the weeks you decided to do coloring, it's today, and both Gabe and Kyle are in here.
Yeah, where's
It's
Yaki?
just, I don't know.
Yeah, look, he's like there, right there. It needs more light. Yeah, I'm not there yet, Kyle.
Tommy wants to know, will this be full of word bubbles?
Let's see. Not full of, but there's a few word bubbles. I mean, there's space in there to put some word bubbles. Basically, you got these two characters. So that's Gilgamesh there on the right. Can I zoom in? Get some Gilgamesh. And look at that highly detailed Gilgamesh there.
Oh, there you go.
Looking good. That's Urshanabi next to him. He's Utnapishtim's trusted ferryman. And there sits Utnapishtim in his throne. This is my interpretation. It's a very outlandish interpretation of a part of the Epic of Gilgamesh. I've taken the Epic of Gilgamesh and made it my own.
Mate,
I've twisted it.
You've gone crazy. Like, this rendition with all these browns is just unbelievable. Could never have seen this coming.
Now, the sunlight is what I'm hoping it will give it a kick. That's what I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. We'll see how that
Has anyone mentioned that you should put some more sunlight in there?
Do you know what would work? Do you know what would work really well? A moon.
What? Crackhead says, Olin. Hey, Jeremy, Rob sent me a message the other day, and I was very impressed with this, Rob. I was very impressed. He said, hey, at the start of the Lucent, this is what happens. At the start of Waking Dream, he opens the door just with his hand, he doesn't actually open it, it opens almost magically. And then he said, and then later on, you've got Ella, and look at her, with her hand,
you gotta make yourself bigger, man.
Fly up. Well, anyway,
yeah.
And he said, it feels like that's connected in some way, and I went, aha.
You sound Jewish.
I know he's doing Eddie.
It's a
Coming to America.
Coming to America thing. And look, here's Gabe. Deep shadows will accentuate that much needed sunlight. I'm just gonna give up. I'm gonna give up.
Mo says another minor light source could be a lit
now.
crack pipe.
There you go.
Serenity now.
Mike, let's not coloring and actually start coloring.
Yeah. Whatevs. I used to do a more painterly brush thing that I don't like anymore, so I'm kind of getting rid of that. I'm doing busy work here because now I'm flustered from all these superstar colorists hanging out in the chat. All right, what am I doing here?
You bring all the colorists to the yard. That's what
I do. It seems like I do.
John wants to know if anything has happened yet. The answer is no.
Why are you sitting on mine? Oh yeah, because Shanth's got it on his thing. God damn it! Usually we flip back and forth, Shanth.
Well, what's the problem here? Yeah, all you gotta do is do that. There I am.
So what everyone can see here in the chat is Shanth has a blank piece of paper, and yet he still has done more than Michael.
Michael's piece is inspiring my piece, so that's what's going on.
Exactly.
I've got to figure out Gilgamesh, which is no
Wiggly
easy
lines.
task. Well, let's see if he can figure out what I'm doing once I get there.
As long as there's boobs, I think everyone's okay.
Well, I may have to add them then.
Yeah.
Well, hey, did you tell Michael about your artwork the other night?
No.
On my stream? That was
That was
outstanding.
beautiful. Everyone loved it, actually.
People loved it. Give the people what they want. That is what it's about. It's Comicsgate.
Did you not invite Camel today, Bancroft?
Camel's always welcome to come on if he wants to draw. He can take some of the pressure off me. He'll probably be coloring as well. Do you want to send Camel the link, or do you want me to?
I can do it, I guess. It's like the 10th link I've sent him.
Today?
In general. No, he's never sent me.
Today? That was really Aussie of me. Today?
Dave Brink's in the house. SDA. John Stoneman. So
what do you want to rant about, Rob?
Oh,
I mean, I do know what you want to rant about, but I want to facilitate your rant.
I don't know if I've got the energy for it today, man. Honestly, with my rants, you've got to catch me when it's happened, because then once I've calmed down, it's not as entertaining for anyone. So I don't know. Do you want me to go on about it?
Are we talking pricing? Was that what we're talking about?
There was two things. There's pricing and shipping, and yeah, I've got rants on both those topics. I was going to go on Crackheads, but I didn't realize they actually sent me the link until like after the show had ended. So Antonio says, "Hail CG and Michael's forehead." Do you guys call it forehead or forehead?
Forehead.
I think I'm the only one who calls it forehead.
I
think I might be the only one on the planet who calls it a forehead. But I'm fine with that.
SDA says, it's like a sober Shane, not as entertaining. Kyle says, my eyes. So, Mike, you spent all this time doing these elaborate, what do you call them? These fire pit things suspended from the roof with chains.
They're called
braziers.
Braziers. It doesn't sound right, so I don't
Brazzers?
say it. They're fiery cooking things. They're
but you don't have them on or firing. I mean,
even in the middle of the day.
I know, but like, why put them in at all then?
Because you don't know what happens at the end of the scene where I require them.
Oh,
passage of time. You see, Rob?
3 light sources.
Well, the light's coming from all around. There's even light coming in from the back.
I'm just trying to say hi to my friends, and Rob is gatekeeping me. Am I? I don't tend to.
The light is all around. Hello, Camel.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good,
man.
man.
How are you? How are you? Shanth? Is that your name?
Shanth.
It's Shanth.
Oh.
No, see, I knew Michael would like it. It's Shanth, just Sean with a TH, man.
Oh, okay. Hi. How you doing?
Good, man. I enjoy your work.
Oh, thanks. And
Mike,
I enjoy yours.
Did
I
you
like
just
your
wake up?
Nosferatu thing.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mike, is there any way to make Shanth's view like the main view, but keep us here on the side, or no?
Yes. Let me try it. This thing. Nope. Yep. And then you do that.
Oh, geez.
Sweet.
I'm a human shield. No.
But back to front now, though. This is very, very strange.
It's weird.
That's all right.
Graveyard Shift hit 100K. It's pretty sick.
Actually, it went well over. It seemed like it was it took a while to get to 100, but then once it got over, it was like the what's it called? The breaking the
open.
seal, you know?
Yeah.
Wow, Rob had a good idea for once. Oh, thanks, Crackhead. Appreciate that, man. So, Shanth, not to be nitpicky, but I could do this.
Yeah.
So when does this get better?
This is the great grift. Well, I outsource the rest of it. I'm more of an ideas person.
Mm-hmm.
Bell paints it.
Yeah, I'm going to be sending this overseas in a bit, and they usually know what I want, you know. And then it's great because I can have them work while I talk during my stream, so I can show their hands while they're working, and then have my face in the corner. So that's how I usually do my work.
Kyle says, "I'm just saying, make this panel really dark to allow sunlight to brighten it up. Make it look beautiful. No brown. Phew! I'm finally feeling better now. LOL."
God. I mean, that's what I was about to do, but then everyone was like, just put the sunlight on. And that's what I hear from the chat anyway.
So, Nia, how do I go back to you?
I think you just click and drag whoever you want to put on.
No, you gotta go back to this view, and then you've got to share it.
Oh wow.
My God, this is
You know what I'm saying?
This is too much. Have you actually done anything yet? No. So are you getting to work sometime today, or are you just gonna sit for 2 hours like me?
When you're what's the word? When you're starting with because I'll color this up, and this is sort of what I'll base the rest of the colors off. There's a lot of thinking that goes into that. I'm picturing what I want it to look like, and then I get to it. It can't just happen like that. You know, there's a bit of playing around, if you know what I mean.
Mike says, you gave Rob co-host powers. Are you drunker than Shane right now? Dude, I've had co-host powers for quite a while now.
Yeah, I had to.
I had that.
But then he hides all the really funny anti-Rob comments, and I don't hear them. And then, you know, I have to go back and see them.
I don't think I do.
Later.
Let's have a look at what Camel's up to. Hail Salad. Who's that awesome person with the nunchucks?
That's Fragga.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pink Bunny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I got to put the eyeballs on him. Otherwise, no one will know who he is. But, yeah. I don't remember what color I used for his eyes. Just kind of eye drop it.
So Camel
Right,
is
so if Rob's not going to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
You're going to steal my rant? Is that what you're going to do?
I don't know. I mean, I was waiting for your rant, and it wasn't forthcoming. I don't know what to do about it.
Unbelievable.
Did you want to go? The floor is yours. Can we ban Kyle Ritter from the chat, please? Is that a possibility?
No, we cannot ban on Kyle. Micah wants to know, why did you put Fragga in a dress, Camel?
Well, it's hard to see here. It's really a top hat. He's a bunny popping out of a top hat. You know, like this is the brim of the hat. It looks more like a top hat in the cartoon itself, but you know, it takes a manly man to pull off a pink dress.
KSS says, is Camel and Bancroft's new show this week? I was mildly drunk on Camel Nights.
Is he
Not
in
this
the
week?
show?
No, he's asking, is it starting this week?
No, it'll probably start. I'm thinking mid-February. Also, I did some more testing, Mike, and I think I might have figured out the IP thing, so we can take another look next time.
What are you
Sounds
guys
good.
planning? I don't like all this
It's a
secret.
plot.
I don't like all this secrecy from me.
You don't even care. You just don't like that you're not part of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. You got it completely right. Rob can't read, sad. I can. I just didn't read the end of it. Kyle says, haha, I doubt Michael would make me a wrench. I have a feeling that he's pretty mad at me right now, Mobix.
It's all in good fun, Carl Ritter. It's all in good fun.
All right, let's check in on Michael Cam, and who wants to bet that he's done nothing? That's what I'm going with. Yep, nothing has changed.
I have. Look, I did this. Ready?
Okay.
There you have it.
That was a big difference. Big
Oh,
difference.
that's a cool view.
Oh, look
you
at
like,
that.
You like this view?
Yeah, it is cool.
Can I make it so that the thing isn't behind them? Let me try that, or no, it just stays behind them. It's kind of interesting.
I think it works.
Antoine says, Rob's eyes are toilet paper and everything he sees is shit.
Jesus.
Classic.
All right, so when's this rant coming that we've all been promised?
No, dude, you can start it and I'll chime in.
So the discussion didn't end on the whole pricing. Is this what we're talking about? The pricing of the books.
Yeah.
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 And it continued on into Jeremy's show the other day, which I was watching. And it's like you rant. I'm trying to think about colors here. I don't know if I can. Why don't you take it from here, Rob?
Okay. So from my point of view, like, and you know how I'm not very eloquent and things don't come out the way I intend to say them. But
excellent.
Yeah. I think like when we back comic books in CG, we need to really look at what we're getting for our $25, right? So take Ethan, for example. You're probably going to get a late book, but you're going to get a whole crap ton of extras. You're going to get one of the best drawn books from one of the best artists in comics for the past 25 years. You're going to get a whole truckload of stuff.
You're going to get Carl Ritter's colors. He doesn't
Yeah.
like brown.
Yeah.
There'll be no brown in there.
Right. So I just think we need to have a look at what we're actually getting for our $25. So like if you back Replicator, for example, right? It's not 48 pages, it's 32, but it's not $25 either. It's $15. Plus you get a whole shit ton of prints. So that's how I've done it. You've got 32 color pages, it's $15, it's not that 25, right? And look at mail-ins, right? You get $25 and you get a massive book. You get a truck ton of extras as well. I don't know where I'm going with this, Mike, but you've just got to compare things. So it's a fair comparison.
Rob, I think what you're trying to articulate,
thanks, Camel,
is an issue that has kind of plagued the film industry for the last 40 years or so. And it's one of like, how do you charge for like the same price for an indie book that you would a blockbuster or indie movie, right? Like if I'm going to go see a bedroom drama, is that worth the same $12 than if I'm going to go see the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
And it really kind of comes down
to
the
discussion.
Right, sure. And essentially what they've decided in Hollywood, which has now become the model, is it's really up to the consumer. Now, the big movies, they're going to make $1 billion. And that's just, but the price is the price. as soon as you start pricing things differently, then you're saying that it's not worth the same amount of money. But the worth is in the eye of the beholder. So if people are willing to pay what they're willing to pay, then there's really no reason to alter the market based on that, because it's already proven that, there's an audience for every book. It just depends on how many people are willing to spend that kind of money on it.
So this is something that I noticed in the chat today on when I was watching the replay of Jeremy's show. Is that that comparison gets brought up a lot. Why would I spend that X amount of money when I can go and just buy a Wolverine trade for $15 and get 120 pages?
Right.
And I see this coming up sort of again and again. And how do you answer that? I don't know if that's necessarily the right kind of apples to apples comparison. That at least it's not the way I look at it. And I've made this clear lots of different ways. The crowdfunding side of it is not just about buying a book like you would that Wolverine trade, but it's about backing the creator and backing their vision and backing their legacy and all that sort of stuff that's bundled into the book.
And when you buy that trade, though, aren't you also supporting the new material they're making, where they're taking all these characters and desecrating them? I mean, isn't that why the difference? Comicsgate's, you're funding independent artists. I mean, we're doing the shipping, the mailing, the packaging. I don't know if any of you guys have a warehouse with teams of people helping you, but it's a small business. It's like going to a local small toy store and then comparing it to, what Target can sell things for or what Amazon can sell things for. It's a weird comparison to me. Because I keep hearing it and I'm going, do they know what, how do I word it? When I back Cyberfrog, I'm realizing that Ethan's paying his people well. He's putting the money out there like Kyle Ritter and trying to make as professional of a package as possible. And we're not Marvel and DC. We're just not. We're small independent businesses that are, I don't know about you guys, but I'm spending every amount, every dollar I can to make the best product possible. But that's not, it's not the same thing. It's not like getting a paycheck, for a gig. And we don't have giant media corporations behind us. It's so different. I don't know. I feel like has that been discussed or?
Yeah, it has been discussed. Yeah. What I think where this is coming from is that the YouTube is growing.
Yeah.
And we're getting and all of us are seeing new people pop up in the chat, and we're getting all kinds of different people who are coming from all kinds of different places.
Gotcha.
Some of them they've just sort of dropped mainstream. Some of them have been buying indie for years. Others have been buying crowdfunds. Others are just coming into crowdfunding. So yes, some of them it makes perfect sense to compare it to Marvel and DC. That this is the alternate. Okay, so what are you gonna give me that's comparable, sort of thing, and so as a creator, you want to avoid getting defensive.
Sure.
About this, but you just want to really explain your position.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that people understand you're not here to gouge the Comicsgate fan base for cash.
Of course.
The reason why you're charging what you're charging is not because you want to gouge the CG fan base for cash. It's because you want to at the end of your campaign, after you've paid for printing and shipping and all the production fees for the artists and everything, and then you pay taxes, that you're not walking away from that experience with a 5-figure debt. I mean, some of the people that responded to my Twitter were suggesting that. They were like, well, make your book for $7, sell your book for $7 free shipping. I'm like, this would cost me over $10,000 to do this thing.
It's also. Go ahead, Mike. I didn't know you were done.
No.
You know, you don't want to price yourself out.
Yeah.
You know, I had a couple people last week on my show. They were saying that they actually thought that my membership was too low. And it's like, that is something that is, my channel is not huge, and I have to find what I think the correct value is for the product that I'm offering. And that's why I actually made it a choice between $1, $2, and $3. Now, Ethan does $5. I'm sure you could get 10, 15. I don't even know like Tim Pool or people like that do. But you're getting a different amount of product for what it is there. And from my business perspective, it's like, it's worth it for me to try to get 1,000 people at $1 versus try to get 1,000 people at $5. And that's, you know, kind of a decision you need to make for yourself. Now, I have to make sure that that can cover my overhead and my costs, and that I don't feel like, you know, I'm working for nothing. So if you're going to tell someone like, well, I think your comic should be $7 with shipping, you know, you're putting the onus of responsibility on that creator, where they might not be able to fulfill that at a measure that's going to make their costs effective for them. So, you know, it's like, it's not a one size fits all. And I think people wish it was, because it'd be easier to wrap their head around. But, you know, a creator with 50,000 followers versus a creator with 500 followers are two totally separate things. And because of that, they're always going to be in different ballparks.
Your super chat, Mike, and also I sent you a DM from Kyle as well. If you want to bring that up, you can.
Super chat reads, for me, it's all about supporting creators. Thank you so much, Anton Dennison. If I buy that Wolverine trade, Len Wein's family doesn't see a dime. Still selling my book super cheap. Everyone needs to be everyone should set their book price to whatever they want. No one should feel any pressure to go higher or lower or anything like that. Like, don't put yourself in trouble.
Yes. And maybe a little bit no. Like, I saw a book the other day, right? It was 30-ish pages, black and white. The art was not great, and it was $20 USD.
Wow.
So my book's full color. The art's in my opinion, is a lot better. 32 pages, and it's cheaper. Like, I know, Mike, you're a big believer in like free or open market. Let the customer decide. But there's also there's got to be some sort of like balance where you're getting screwed, where you're screwing people over.
Yeah, but isn't that up to the customer to decide whether or not the price is too high? Isn't that the backer? We should talk about backers, because that's another thing I want to address. That there seems to be as this thing grows, more and more people are viewing what we're doing here as you're buying comic books, just like you would at a store. And for me, it was never like that. And maybe that's the landscape is changing. There's more people who are seeing it like that now, and they're not seeing it as much as backing a crowd fund.
You say that like it's up to the customers or the backers to decide, and it is, yes. But they also tell us that for $25 USD, they're expecting a 48-page full color book at minimum. So that's what they actually tell us.
But how did those expectations come up? Right, through trial and error. I mean, so it's like, who's to say that they're wrong about that, though?
The market will decide who's right and wrong, because if you put out something that isn't enough for it's not enough content for the price that you're saying, then you're going to really struggle to get backers. And then you can sort of do the flip side, where you're putting out stuff really cheap, and then you're struggling to make any kind of profit, even though your numbers are larger than they otherwise would have been. Here's a question that was sort of brought up. Does anyone want a 32-page comic book anymore? Is that
the answer
am
is
I
no.
hearing all you guys say no? Like, we're done with 32-page or even lower comic books at any price, it seems.
That's something that
because that's what I'm seeing a lot in the chat as well. For me, like these side books that I'm wanting to do, I don't think I can make them any longer. I don't think I want to. I don't want them to, because the whole point of them was to put out something in between, something that wouldn't take me a year and a half to produce and get done, that I can do on the side, bit by bit, and release it as something smaller, something cheaper, and it's a little one shot. But what I'm hearing is like, yeah, we don't even want that 32-page. Put out 48, 50, 60. But I will be doing that with the main book, obviously.
That's easy too for bigger guys to do, right? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that there are like people like me and Mike, for the most part, we do everything ourselves. That's not always the case, right? I mean, there are plenty of people here. Malin, right? I mean, Malin is one of the biggest employers of comics. He hires lots of people to work on his books. Ethan has people coloring his books. Shane has people, I mean, Yanzi inks, and then he also has a colorist. So it's like, it's easier for them to say, yeah, I can put out 80 something pages for the same amount of money, or because they know they're going to get it in once, the campaign goes live, because they're going to have that money to play with when they want it. It's just like a big budget movie. It's like, this new Batman movie is supposed to be 3 hours long. Oof. I mean, so that's a lot of money. I'm sorry, that's a lot of worth for your dollar. But, it took a whole lot of money to make sure that they were going to make that on top of it, right? So that was because the Batman formula is proven that people want that stuff. So it was worth it for them to take that risk. It might not be worth it for a smaller guy to take that risk, especially if he doesn't have the money to back it up, or the the ability, because he's doing the whole thing himself.
It's funny, like the chat from the last couple of shows, whatever, have said, 32 pages is not long enough. We want 48. But like, flip side is, like, you look at my campaign, my book's 32. We're up to 760 plus backers. So, I mean, people are still buying it, even though it's not the recommended length.
And also, it's a question of you want 48 pages, and I understand that completely, but also want books out faster.
Yeah.
So this is where, I mean, the reason why I'm doing this 32 page, as well as I want to tell the story of the Lucid and everything, is because I want to get a campaign out a year. Now, if I almost double the length of that book, all of a sudden that initial reason to do it in the first place goes away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, there is an absolute truckload of great comments in the chat, but we've been talking like for 5-10 minutes straight. So I'll just scroll back up here and have a look. The one question I would have for you guys, right, is we charge $25. That's a lot of money for a book, and that I'm fine paying $25 for a book. But I would expect that the creator who uses that $25 tries to get the best artist that they can possibly afford, because isn't that the point? Make the best books we possibly can.
Well, I mean, when you say best artist, I mean that can be subjective, only because do you mean like a name brand, right? I mean, like, does it not name brand, but like a name that like, well, I know this artist because I've seen them on other stuff, or is it just, and as long as they're good, it's okay with you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing to define, because there's some people who might not feel like that.
Were you going to say something, Shanth?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about when we were using the movie analogy, and I was thinking about how when I go into a movie theater, just going back to the price thing, if I see a great movie, I never think about what the running time is, but I do notice the running time. All movies seem long when they're terrible, if that makes sense. And a bad movie, you know that old adage, a bad movie costs just as much to make, which sort of depends or they put just as much effort into a bad movie as they do into a good movie. Ultimately, when people back our books, the thing that's so beautiful and amazing about backers, guys, and I can't overstate this, the thing that still overwhelms me is that, you know, you hear from us things like, you know, I've put out 2 books on Indiegogo and I fulfilled them and everything like that, which is all important stuff to build that reassurance. But rest assured, the only thing I'm thinking about is one, not losing money. I don't know how much profit is really coming into it at this point for me. And then the other thing I'm thinking about is if I don't deliver you something that you are excited to get with a good story in it, then it's over. Like that's the biggest failure. So I'm so completely dedicated to the process. And I think about things like when I would read 22-page comics, not that my book's going to be 22 pages, and they felt like I remember those stories because they were really well written and what was in them, not the length, if that makes sense. Like that was never the factor for me wasn't the page count, it was the page worth. And so I don't think I can put for me personally as a backer, you know, someone who's backed a lot of Comicsgate books, they're all so different. And I got to tell you, I don't even think about the page count as much as I think about how satisfied I am with the product, the whole experience in reading the story. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very individual. Like if you were to look at my Blu-ray collection, you couldn't say, well, these are obviously the movies he likes the most because they're the longest movies. Or do you know what I'm saying? Like I love Ben-Hur and Lawrence of Arabia, but it doesn't mean I don't love, you know, smaller films or like
if you spend $20 on a 32-page comic and it sucks, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah, and you should.
But likewise, you know, you spend that amount on a good comic, and you're probably going to be okay with it.
All right, let me read this chat if I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
no, go Camel, because it's going to take a while to get through. So make your point.
I was going to say, I think there's a fair point to make about. Okay, so you're spending X amount of dollars, $25 on a 32-page book, but depending who you're buying it from, that's not all you're getting. You know, it's like whenever there's a new Star Wars movie, let's say, right? The amount of hype that's generated about it is very exciting for the fans. Whether that's seeing backstage photos, a year of promotional material, all of that marketing and advertising is actually kind of part of the experience of being a fandom. So if, you know, for that money, you feel like, yeah, I'm only getting a book. Maybe it's not the only way to look at it. Maybe it's like I'm also getting, you know, the constant entertainment of the person I'm buying the book from. You know, whether it's through even updates about seeing the stuff beforehand, you know, it might be a larger experience outside of, you know, the hour it takes you to read that one book when you finally get it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Derek Clay, we're thinking 32 for 15. That's pretty fine. That's exactly what I did. So I think it can work. Mo says, Rob keeps talking about some book of his that I don't have. It's so close to all being done. Tommy says, the price doesn't matter as long as supporters are happy. It's their choice, from London Fog. Crackhead says, the backers always set the market ultimately. More Drawn Sword says, more pages win. Ravener says, backer is a technicality. It is a purchase. If you don't deliver what I've purchased, I'm going to slam you for the remainder of eternity.
Oh, I don't think anyone's talking about that. I mean,
no.
if you have to deliver on what you promise in a timely manner.
John says, some creators are too pressure about what they feel their value is, get their feelings hurt, and then stomp away like a child. Cracker says, we're telling you that's what we prefer, yes, but that's not all we'll back. Gabe says, we do A/B testing in our offerings, and the customers will let us know with their wallets. Mobig says, KSSS, in my legendary crack rock roast of Bancroft, I mentioned his desserts are more homoerotic than the stripper cake at a gay bachelor party. Fear Lantern says, art standards sway with style. Some people would pay a lot for Tim Sale's work on a book, but I wouldn't give him a nickel. It's just what the buyer wants. Scrolling down. Crackett says, I don't mind a 32-pager at all if it's the right price and something I'm interested in. Scrolling. While I scroll here, I just want to say, like, we are in the luckiest part of comics in the whole industry, in my opinion, right? Oh, especially indie comics, because, like, as I've said a bazillion times, I came from Kickstarter, where for some reason it was really frowned upon to actually make money. Yeah. It was like they have this. Bancroft and I was talking about. They have like this creed that you need to charge so low a price for your book to make sure you're rivaling Marvel and DC that you can't actually make any sort of money.
Yeah, it's like a perverse sense of pride that you are the cheapest and that you're not making a single cent out of this enterprise. Yeah. Everything is just going to the production and you will remain starving because you are a pure artist. And yeah, I really kind of ran into that when that poll reached outside of the CG bubble to people who were just like, what the hell are these prices?
That's an interesting point. I did a CG campaign like 5 years ago. And I mean, there were people that were sort of towing the line outside of the industry that were just like, you know, I had initially set my campaign goal to $10,000. And I got an email from a guy who was like running a comic book company. And he was like, oh, that's way too much. You need to ask for like $2,000. And I was like, for fucking $2,000. I mean, what the hell am I going to do with that? You know? And so I think I complied because I thought like, well, maybe they know, you know, maybe they know more about this than I do. I ended up making 3, but yeah, if I had asked for more, I potentially could have got more. And the book took a minute. It took me almost 2 years to get out because it was like, well, I didn't make a whole lot of money off it. So I had to like push it in the back to being like a side project so that, you know, by the time I finished it, it was like, all right, this is $3,000 worth of work. All right, there it is.
Oof. Okay. Tommy says you aim for an 80-page book with a price range of 25. You can pull it out in patches of 40 pages for 15. If you need $30 for 80 pages in the end, then put out 2 40 pages for 21st. That's way too complicated, Tommy. Mo says, Rob, you're selling up to 3 books on your campaign, Bancroft. You're always making that point that I'm selling 1 book, but there is actually 3 there. Derek says, I'll continue with 32 until I can commit full time to making comics. So I think, like, if you're a first time creator, like you haven't done a crowdfunder before, I think 32 pages is a very solid starting place because it can be a hell of a lot cheaper than 48, depending on how much you're paying for your art.
And the other thing about it too, if I can just jump in with this, that was really a big thing that Ethan was talking about, and I'm not sure who it was in reference to, but, you know, there was this huge period in Comicsgate, and we're still at the beginning where the drumbeat was, you know, under promise, over deliver. Don't tell people you're going to do this massive project and then have it never get out and years go by and you can't fund it. So I always think that one of our biggest responsibilities personally, and I'd love to hear from the chat, is they want us to be responsible with their money, and we want to make sure we can get them a book with all these different fluctuating factors. You know, that's why I do everything on my book largely, is because there's not as much overhead, but it wouldn't even be financially doable to hire somebody. You know, that's the biggest aspect of it. So I like to think that I'm able to over deliver in terms of quality because I'm not having to hire somebody. So it's interesting. There's a lot of factors. I'll know from them, you know, when the book comes out.
There are 73 people in here, so if you can hit like and subscribe and share this out on your socials, that would be awesome. Bancroft doesn't really need any more
hanging out.
Subs.
Yeah. What do you mean I don't need any more?
Go sub to my channel. Antoine says, Rob, I think smaller books are more palatable if the wait is shorter. Yes, I agree. Dine Day said, I'd buy 30 times 24 pages of pulp horror or camp comics monthly if I could pick them up at the servo on newsprint for a couple of bucks each.
Yeah, and this
I think
is
that's where we're eventually going to go, isn't it? Like, once we've made some money, we've got the books out. You think some people will cut them up, put them on lower quality paper, sell them for a cheaper amount to the more so of the general public.
Yeah, that's the missing end of the story. Of this whole discussion. And there's a super chat there from Tungsten. Hello, Tungsten. Great to see you. For 5, he says, I totally disagree with that Mooney. He said Moon Guy. But, $25 is for the book. Don't BS me with it's an experience. I use the super chats for that, lol. And that's a different opinion. And I ran into a lot of that on Twitter, and you get different degrees. It's like I hate using the word, but it's a bit like a spectrum. I definitely do.
I didn't say that was across the board.
Do.
I said there are people who feel like that. No, I didn't say that that was the model.
So, but we can't just ignore that there are people out there who aren't interested in investing in you as a creator. They aren't interested in investing in your career and getting it started and all that sort of stuff. They just want the book that they're backing, and absolutely. So, and if the cost of entry on the crowdfund, which I still do consider as part of what you're paying for, is the investment in the creator and their career, then catch them later down the line on the reprints, on the omnibuses. Mo Biggs made a point earlier. He says, I'm expecting that the future reprints of the Lucent are going to be cheaper. You're absolutely right, Mo. He knows me. Yes, I will bundle books. I'll do reprints. They will be cheaper. That's the point of it. The crowdfund is the most expensive because you're paying for production. You're paying for all of it.
First printing.
First printing, exactly. There's the premium price attached to that. It's a bit of a it's a hard discussion to continue to have because there's so many different points of view from the backer side, from the fan side, from the reader side. We're just not going to be able. I'm not going to be able to sell my 32-page side book, Fractured Mind, that I'm getting produced right now to these guys who won't pay more than $7 for a comic.
Right.
It's not, even though it'll be bells and whistles, I'll probably have a matte laminate with UV spot cover on it. I'll have prints, I'll have stickers, I'll have all sorts of stuff. It's the price is a deal breaker. Okay, I won't be able to catch them on this time around. Hopefully, in a year or two down the line, I've got a back catalog. They can buy, a whatever it is, collection if it interests them, and then it'll be much more affordable per page for them.
You got a super chat from Jason Smoot.
Hail Smoot for $20. Thank you so much, man. Incredibly generous. Canada is now Truckistan. All hail Truckistan.
Hail Truckistan.
They keep pretending it's tiny and small. And they're like, and now have you noticed the narrative is they do the truck so it makes their thing look really big. It's stretching from city to city.
It's 100 guys.
Thank you.
In a row.
Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? Is their attitude, right? It's like, good
exactly.
Lord.
Oh, Brad's in the house too. The few. How you going, Brad?
KSSS says Camel is an excellent artist. Way better than a 4.
Camel is a really good artist.
John says, Camel Moon, is that a ham radio in your background?
No, it's the lunchbox. It's from the Hail Salad campaign.
So, quick question to the chat. I was curious about, because when I was buying comics, a big part of it was I loved collecting comics and getting back issues and things like that. The thing I always think about with Comicsgate is one of the biggest pluses is is getting in on these things on the ground level and having something with a low print run that will increase in value if it's a quality product. So in a lot of ways, I've always felt when I'm backing projects, Not that that's the sole reason. It's I love the work, I love the story, I want to see what's going on with the creator, but I guess that's the thing. To me, it's an instant collector's item, which there's very few things you can say that about. Low print run, first appearances. I'm excited by that, but I don't know if the chat feels the same way or not, but I always think of it that way.
I think it's early to dictate that market. I mean, like, you know, I know some of EVS's books go for much more money on eBay, but that's EVS. So it's like, you really, you know, it's a speculative market. So it's like, you couldn't really put you couldn't wrap that up, you know, in under 10 years, because it's like, who knows, you know, where anything in CG goes, or whether or not, you know, it's become such a cultural statement that people feel like they need to own it as a piece of history.
Nom de Gua, your books aren't available outside. I'm sorry, aren't available outside Indiegogo, and there is no back library I can pick through. Flood the market with product, and don't worry about the page count. That is something that we are working on. Bancroft has stolen my idea. He set up CG now, where you can find people's books that you can actually buy. It's not, there's no real back library, but you can get books now.
That was your idea, Rob? I thought that was Mike's.
No. It is.
Mike has no original ideas. He has no original ideas, Camel. He just steals them all.
Yeah, you know, hey, look, CG Now is working. That's the positive thing that I've noticed about CG Now. It's working. So I've sold 11. I sold another 3 or so Waking Dreams this week, which is great. You know, just
14,
ticking along. And I've heard back from others. They've said, hey, I just sent out a bunch of books that, you know, sold through CG Now. So it is the concept is there, it's working, but yeah, it's going to take time to build it up, because a lot of what's being sold on there are leftovers from campaigns. It's not necessarily cheaper reprints. There is one. I mean, there's Downcast, but as I said on that Twitter thread, I said, you know, I think we've figured out a lot of this. And when I say figured it out, I mean, I'm not saying there's one way of doing it, because you know, there's a million different opinions in the chat, but something I think we can all agree on is we're all thinking about this. Things are getting better. We're working towards it. The real missing ingredient here is time.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are really new to this. I know I am. You know, Shanth is working on his first new crowdfunded comic. Rob, you're actually way further along than a lot of us.
Yeah, but I feel like I've learnt more from this campaign than I have any of the others. So you're always learning in this. Stoneman says, I back the Lucent because of Bancroft's excellent chat. I want him to succeed. I back the Replicator out of pity for the mentally challenged.
Jesus.
That's why we do this show.
Yeah. Oh, God, man, I'm so far behind on chat. This is crazy.
You had one job, Rob.
Well, I mean, your talking takes too long. But the reason, like, Bancroft is going to be able to get books out quicker and I'm going to be able to get books out quicker is because of how successful we've been on our last campaigns. Thanks to you guys, mainly. But because of that, like, I've got half of issue 4 done already, paid for up front from the funds I raised from issue 3. Bancroft is, because of his success, he's started to pay an unknown artist to do his side book.
Oh, he's known, just not
on that project.
Wide, like, yeah, that'll be happening maybe this week. Actually,
Mo says, I don't get paid for my chats, which in the past have been 40% of the content on this channel and 80% of the entertainment.
That sounds like a you problem.
True. Stop gatekeeping. Stop gatekeeping Mo's comments, by the way, Rob. Don't think I'm not noticing.
I just highlighted it. What are you talking about? Did you bring up the thing I sent you in DMs?
It's a Cyberfrog page.
Yes.
All right, let's show this off.
Oh my!
You're gonna have to change views.
Yeah, go to
Ooh.
the side or something.
Ooh. How do I put that in there?
You had one job, Mike.
This is Cyber Frog hanging out with Lily, and then it looks like Heather in sort of wandering gear comes by and wants to know what's going on. Ethan actually read out a bunch of Cyber Frog pages earlier on the stream. It was cool.
That was awesome.
Is this? But it's. I feel like this is just Ritter like slapping his balls on the table. Quite frankly, as I struggle to, figure out a palette for my pages. He's like, let me show you sunlight coming in, through the cracks. How it's really done. Lord Ravenous says needs more detail. Couldn't agree more. I mean, there's so many spots in here that Ethan is just neglected. Look at all these black areas. I mean, you could just fill that with detail. What's going on up here,
Yeah. I would
Can we
give
take
it
that
a
off the screen, please? No, I'm kidding. Oh man.
Yeah.
I was kidding, but this is the thing, right? Guys, when we talk about pricing, and maybe I'm a sucker, but if Ethan was selling just a collection of the Dale Keown Cyberfrog art that he's made so far, and it was 20 pages or 10 or 15 pages, I'd pay $25 for that if it was on nice paper. I mean, man, there's just some stuff that, I'm so excited about. I don't even think about that kind of stuff. Oh, Killing Joke. That's a great example of
a super chat, Mike.
Oh, love that book.
Tungsten for $5 again. Thank you so much, buddy. He says Killing Joke is around 48 pages. I like Killing Joke. More books like that would be great. Self-contained story with the possibility of continuation. They would be. I mean, but Killing Joke is like a classic, isn't it? That's like.
Yep.
I think that's difficult to obtain. The reason Killing Joke works so well is because you already know the characters. So just have a 48-page book where you don't know the characters. That's kind of asking a lot because you really have to introduce, the idea of the story and all that stuff. First. It was only because Batman had been around for 40 years and that Killing Joke is as beloved as it is. If that was just a random book that came out by, one creator at one time, I mean, yeah, it might have been good, but it also might have just been like, yeah, okay, I don't really know who these people are, and I don't know why I should care. I don't know why it matters that Barbara gets shot.
Camel, do you want to read this one?
There you go.
Camel is good. Camel is a good artist, but let's be real, he's no Rob Arnold. I know. Well, Rob taught me everything he knows. It took about
10
5
minutes.
All right. Well, speaking of all this business with creating books and everything, I have a very generous audience here with the super chats and everything. On top of that, I do have the option to open up memberships. And essentially the state as it currently is I'm funding the creation of Fractured Mind with super chat money currently.
Wow, that's awesome.
It is awesome. It's that's sort of like the blessed position that you were kind of mentioning earlier, Rob. I have that luxury that not many others do. I would also like to, get a bit more, serious about it. And I know I've talked about doing trading cards and stuff with membership as well. But I want to put it out to the chat. If I did start a membership, would it be something that people would be interested in? Is like seeing the ongoing behind the scenes, because the artist that I'm working with, he's continuously sending me layouts, pencils, ink in progress.
Nice.
I said it's a he, so that narrows it down. That sort of thing. And like, to me, this is a way that I can actually I'm not saying we're not getting the ARO cards, but I'm just talking about, you know, to get the ball rolling. You know, a way that I can actually bring that price down when it goes to crowdfund is if, you know, I can essentially, you know, not have to put up massive amounts of capital that I just don't have on me, you know, up front like that. And I guess I wanted to throw it out to the chat and see what they thought about it, because I already have an incredibly generous chat with the super chats and everything.
Yeah,
super chat.
So I don't want to, like, you know, get too crazy with it. Antoine Dennison for $5. Egotistically, I see myself as funding someone's dream who might never see their work in print. If I get a good book, I'm pleasantly surprised. Lol. I actually look at it a bit like that as well, yeah. Antoine. I really do. So, you know, a lot of these things, like, without the crowdfunding, with, you know, the opportunities that we're afforded through YouTube and the network that's been set up with Comicsgate, these things just wouldn't get made. We wouldn't be doing this. The avenue wouldn't exist. Like, I wouldn't be able to make Fractured Mind now if I didn't have the YouTube channel. Essentially, it wouldn't be possible.
Rob, can I show something while you're talking? Can you make this big screen? I just want to show people who have seen Antoine's chat, people who have been backing Nosfero. This is a page I've been working on today.
Look at that blood splatter. That is beautiful.
This is only possible because of Comicsgate, guys. I love Comicsgate. I've been backing books. The guys in the chat, I haven't said this to Camel Moon yet, but when I watched the Jack show, I have been nearly hospitalized from laughter. But when I was watching Camel Moon a couple episodes ago, and you showed the guy falling all the way down the stairs, clip, I died. I was like pounding the coffee table and wheezing. And it is great to be on a stream with you guys. And this is the stuff that I get to do and publish. It does take time to make it. There's a lot of work. But when you get pages of this, I want you guys to go, wow, this is absurd. I'm doing a gouache hand-painted book, and Comicsgate is making it possible. And I can't tell you how much I want to, you know, literally, you know, blood, sweat, and tears that I want to put into the page, so that when you guys get this book, you're like, I want to put this on my shelf, and I love it. And my God, please, Shane, don't talk about Black Sad when I'm holding my work up. It makes me feel like, dang, now I'm picturing way better artwork. But anyway... Black Sad's awesome, but this is what it's about, guys. You guys make this stuff possible, and I'm incredibly appreciative of CG. Can't overstate that. Now, please take me off screen.
Let's just leave you there.
Shit.
Rob, why aren't you making fun of Shanth's drawing? If I did that, you would be like, all I'm seeing is a purple blob.
I can see a face. I can see a beard. I can see shape and form taking life, breath going into art, Michael. With yours, I feel nothing.
My children think that Comicsgate is an Australian movement. I want you guys to know that. They go, is Comicsgate in Australia? And I go, well, no, kids. It's Rob and Michael are in Australia. And they're like, and those other two brothers. And I'm like, yeah. They're also in Australia. And I go, you know what? It is in Australia, kids. It is. It's an Australian movement.
You lie to your children?
Are you kidding? Yeah, you bet.
I would never.
Since birth. They think I'm their dad.
Idiots.
I thought you liked that.
Touche.
That was funny.
I sent out a link
if you can make
to a ringer mic. I don't know if they'll pop in, but I hope they do. Oh, should I send it to Kyle as well?
Rob loves
it's so much
having
fun.
people yell at me.
Make fun of guys, seriously, chat. Do you guys love it when Kyle just piles on Mike or John or Gabe or anyone else? I mean, I do.
The Killing Joke discussion continues. Tungsten says, I give Killing Joke to someone who does not know much about Batman, and that person can still enjoy the story. Disagree with that Mooney again.
Get it right, Camel.
You two are like,
Jeez.
Okay. You spent $5 to disagree with me. Good for you.
Who? But okay. But who doesn't know about Batman? Are there people who don't know about Batman?
You still have to tell a story in a vacuum, though. You know, like I mean, yeah. I don't know if that's a great argument. I mean, just because people. I mean, there are people who don't know about Batman. That is a thing.
First issue of Ninja Turtles is my standard of a book you walk into completely cold, establishes a world, tells a self-contained story, with the opportunity to move forward with an art style that no one would predict would be that. That's the coolest thing to me when something like that comes along.
Phil says people in Singapore don't know Batman.
Clearly. They've got Catman.
Bat Boy.
And look, I'm not even saying that's wrong. Like, yeah, that's still it's possible, sure, to do a book like that. It's just it's asking a lot of a reader, and I don't know if you're going to hit it out of the park every single time.
Oh yeah.
You know, if that's your model, I mean, you have to be amazing. I don't know if it's easy for everyone to do something like that.
So I kind of think back to the $25 thing, right? My point is that I think as a creator, you have to take some of that responsibility onto yourself and give good value for what you're actually offering people, right? If you can't do the 48 pages with all the extras, then you're doing a lower page quality, page count book. Drop the price a bit. Do something that provides value, because when people look at that $25 amount, they're looking at people like Ethan and John, and they give great value for that $25. So I don't know. I think it's something that all the creators should look at.
Do you have that photo that you shared with your package with all the stuff that you're putting into Replicator 3? You share. I don't know if you shared it on Twitter or something. I saw it
somewhere. Maybe. I'll see if I can find it.
You should show that, because that's what you've. When I say $15 plus X shipping, and we should talk about that as well.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
It's not just the book. It's never just the book. When it comes to the crowdfund, it's a whole bunch of other stuff. And I know there's people out there who don't care about that stuff, but there are others who really do, and they really appreciate it. And we can always be a little smarter as creators to come up with things that people actually do either want, or they didn't know they want, or really just gives that feeling that they've got value for their money once they get the book in hand. Whatever it is. Antoine Dennison for $2. The first TMNT was 40 pages, Camel. It can be done. Yeah, Camel. Can't you just agree with everyone?
Look, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with everybody. It can be done. It's fine. I don't know. You know, I'm not saying it can't be done. I don't think The Killing Joke is the best example of it. I think that, you know, there are plenty of other books out there. Like for example, like, I don't know. I haven't read in a while. Is Batman's origin in The Killing Joke? I know it is in the first 40 pages of Ninja Turtles. So the setup is there.
Yeah.
You just want the chat. All the chat are asking, Camel, is just be Frank Miller. Just be who else? Who else can you say? Alan Moore. I mean, just be these living legends.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because is that too much to ask?
I'm trying as hard as I can. It's you know, the exceptions are not the rule. Usually, if anything, the exception proves the rule. Because if you can name all the times it's happened, then that means that it's not that common.
Raiden says, Rob, do you have a photo? Do you have that photo of your package?
Hey, I promised it in the.
Antoine says Rob stuffs his package confirmed. I sent you the photo, Mike.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So, this is what you get in addition to the book that you paid for, which was $15 plus shipping. You're getting a whole bunch of prints. You're getting a sticker. And you're getting Rob's insanely cheap time that he wanted to spend making a wax stamp and hand coloring that friggin' thing, because I tricked him into doing that.
Dude, I want to fucking. It's nearly killed me. You don't understand. I'm
I know. I do understand. I do understand. I thought you were insane to offer that this time round, but I'm very grateful. This is what I'm saying. So, if you went to a convention, I don't know, you guys go to conventions. I've never been to a comic book convention. How much would this little package of prints set you back? I don't know.
I can tell you about.
Can you guys answer that?
Yeah. I've seen that, I've seen people sell 4 or 5 prints for like anywhere from $15 to $25 to $50. It depends. You're talking about when I went to WonderCon in San Francisco. I've had, people that were former students when they're out and showing little prints of their characters, and they're like, $5 or $6 a print. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is like free stuff that Rob has added to the campaign. If you want it,
I've got the Lucent package here too as well. If you want me to show that,
I mean, only if you don't want to wreck it. I know you're,
dude. I'm so bad about it.
I need to send you another one, Shanth. I'm going to send you another package.
Oh, so if you want to hear crazy,
what's he done to the first package that he needs a second?
No,
package?
he doesn't want to.
I got my package caught in a door, and
he got it stuck in the zipper.
No,
hold on a second. Let me grab this for two. Let me grab this one for £2.
Yeah,
regarding shipping, Camel and Cecil would make a great pair. There you go. Camsel or Seamel. I think it should be. Can we go full screen with Shanth?
Okay, guys, here's the deal. You guys have gotten me convinced. I'm just telling you right now. Nosfero is almost to 20K, but I'm telling you right now, save your money for Lucent Painted Death. I'm just a Lucent fan, so here you go, folks. So when I got the Lucent, and I was not even a part of any of the inside jokes that were associated. Let me turn this light off. Any of the inside jokes that were associated with it, I backed it just on how beautiful I thought the artwork was. Now, it's not put into the package exactly how I got it, but gosh, you guys did such a great job of packing this up. It's fantastic. But I got the ginger root hand, which I had to then deep dive into the lore magnet. So I had to learn all about that because I wasn't there for the ginger root hand. I got a print, actually several prints. What am I saying? I got several prints here. Prints this size at a comic convention that you'd pay to fly to or, to and then get into and then get these. Look at the quality. These prints, I don't know if my camera is doing it justice.
No, but they are amazing prints. They're the one I got the exact same. I did the exact same thing that Russ Leach did with his prints, and
look at this, guys.
Happy with how they came out.
Stunning. These prints are. Oh my god, I love this one. This one is the cover is of course exceptional, but I think that I didn't know that I would get a print of it.
She has no nose.
That's my camera's fault. Let me see if I can get in a little closer on this. Let me see. Nope, still no nose.
No, there is a nose. There is. I swear there's a nose.
There is one. There is one.
Yeah.
And so that's just the prints, and then that's the magnet. And I swear, if I get water on this, I'm going to be so pissed at myself. But anyway, well, that's part of the drama here. Like when I took the Todd McFarlane art down. Oh, forgot about this. The ginger root hand. I thought this was a really great touch for this book. The explanation of the ginger root hand that was in here. If I get that out. Hold on a second while I whip this thing out. So this was a really cool little card that explained the origin of the ginger root hand, which I'm sure the chat knows full well. And then let's see here. We've got the sticker, which I love, in here, which has got the Lucent comic.
By 6 a.m. Comics.
Yep, by 6 a.m. Comics. I mean, I haven't even gotten to both the book and the preview book of Painted Death. I'm going to leave that in there just because I fear damaging it. but we've got.
If
the
you
sticker.
reckon, I'm going to send you another one anyway, Shanth. So don't worry.
I'm starting to. I'm really. I don't feel good, Michael. I'm feeling. I feel like I'm pass out. I love this book, guys. Look at this spot varnish. Okay, so here's a big thing I'm thinking about. You got a perfect bound book. It's got one of those beautiful creases, like the original soft cover of The Killing Joke. I remember getting that with the beveled. It's got a spot finish on it. What do you guys call it? I always called it spot varnish, but I know that's probably not the
UV
right
spot gloss.
UV spot gloss on it. The color repro is amazing, and then the color. Here's a big thing for me. I love the books when I back books that they're signed.
That's
really
shit, though.
It is. Jesus Christ! Sorry, don't make me spit on my book, Rob. If I screw this up, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Looks like it was signed by Peter Dinklage.
I would, without a doubt, pay.
Damn it, Rob!
Oh,
see, that's why you didn't win the least funny. You occasionally, it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
often,
1 out of
you
10 Rob
Hold
jokes
on a
are
second,
gold
dude.
jokes.
Come on, 99
This-
out of 1 out of
1 out of
100.
100.
this paper next to it so you can see the color repro. This is making the color way too contrasty. It's so much more subtle and beautiful. But guys, this book, I would easily pay 25, 35 if it was from an indie publisher. And then a nice, again, look at that beautiful finish. And nobody does pre-press like Michael does. So I think that's really what it comes down to. If someone were to ask me what I would be willing to pay for this package, and I don't know what I paid plus shipping, but anything under 45 or 50 bucks for an independent creator who's starting something new is a steal for me for something like this. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Someone
Peace.
chat like
Thank
my
you.
joke.
Now,
I feel
Oh, wait, sorry,
validated.
no more.
look at all these lols.
I forgot.
Rob. Look at them all.
I
These are
forgot
for Rob.
the Painted Death preview. So I got to just make sure I show this. You're also getting a preview comic in there as well. So,
yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Perth says,
Hang on,
Rob,
hang
that
on,
is
hang
the
on.
joke
Where
for
can
the
you get this? Where can you get this book? Where is it available?
CG now? I don't.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
That thing
Sorry,
does my
Sean,
head
I
in.
cut you off.
I know. I'm feeling so much better just to get this thing safely back in its bag. God, I hate being a nerd, but I love being a nerd.
Well Hung and Dung says, who did this book? This one's Bancroft's book. So him.
He knows. Rob.
That guy.
Well, Hung and Dung knows I did the book.
The Australian.
Why did you highlight this one from Antoine and read it out, Rob?
Because everyone's enjoying my joke and I want to enjoy like the 1 minute of it. Is that okay?
Okay. Antoine Dennison says Bancroft's pre-press skills are highly underrated. Are they underrated? I thought they were very well rated, personally.
Mo wants you to read this one, Bancroft.
Skip actually explained the perfect answer to the page count debate. He cleverly hid it in the script for his comic where Bancroft will never find it. That's right.
Sick bird.
Mo says, nobody does pre-press like Michael does. Yeah, because the NAACP would be all over them.
Jesus.
Do you know what that is, Rob?
Nah.
The NACCP? I don't think we can actually say the words, what the acronyms
National
stands
Association
for on
the
YouTube.
Advancement of Colorists and People.
Yeah, well, the N is not the N word.
Mike,
Right?
can you share your screen
Well,
again?
it's sort of become the N word.
Mm.
Oh man.
What's going on?
Can you share your screen again?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to look at camels. We haven't looked at camels for a while. Oh, sorry, Camel. Bancroft just kicked you off.
It's okay. It's
No,
problem.
put his back on.
Nobody likes my work.
Well, Hung Dong says, Rob, Daddy says your joke was good. Pats you. Thanks, man. Speaking of CG now, I noticed Bancroft's seller's name was something like Father Fink. Is that some sort of Aussie joke from Micro?
No, Fink was when I very first opened up the eBay. My old t-shirt company. This hoodie was a hoodie that I designed myself back in the day.
I've already lost interest
And
in this
company, the company was called Fink. So, and I don't know when you start an eBay thing, it's all about getting those numbers up. That's how you get the trust and the sales. So once you've got it, you don't get rid of it. So whatever you put in at the beginning is what you end up with, as far as I know.
So this chick has boobs, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, most chicks do. Is that surprising?
Call those boobs? Sorry.
Not as good as Shanth's boobs.
Yes, thank you. I'm working out though. I'm going to try to get rid of them.
His moobs.
Yeah.
All right. So we promised a discussion on shipping because everyone loves that stuff. I made a statement on what channel was it? I think it was Pops, where I said by the end of 2022, anyone who hasn't got reasonable shipping prices worldwide on their campaigns doesn't want to put them on there in CG. So the network is like, the options are now out there for pretty much everyone. You want to send to the UK, you want to send to Australia, you want to send from Australia to the US, we can do that through the network using the connections that we've built up over the years.
I'm a little frustrated with it, honestly, right? Because before this latest increase, right? So just take that off the table for a minute. There were options for cheaper shipping for creators in the US to ship out of the US to Australia, for example. But people just weren't aware or hadn't looked into it. They just been using the postal service, and that's fine. They can do that. But you could have used pirate ship. That was a cheaper option back then. And now you can bulk ship to someone like Michael or Hockey in Australia and, save a lot of money for yourself and get more backers by making the shipping reasonable. Because Bancroft did a poll the other day, and it was along the lines of 32-page book, 20 plus 10 for shipping, or 15 and 15, and people were saying 15 is too much to pay for shipping. Dude, if we saw $15 shipping, we would be over the moon. I don't think I've paid less than 20 shipping.
You have, if you've bought from a single book from Ethan, I think he did one campaign where he really got reamed on it, I think.
Yeah, for that. Yeah.
But no, you're right. In general, the shipping overseas ranges anywhere from 15 to 45, 60, whatever. I don't know. It's all over the place. And so I helped out Patrick. And the thing is, we're not talking big numbers. He sent me 15 packages. Yeah. So we're not talking, it only works if you've got hundreds and hundreds of things. No. Hockey's trying to set this up as a business. I'm just doing it to help out, people that I've become friendly with. But much like Critical Blast is doing in the States, Hockey's trying to do something similar here in Australia. I heard Simon Simpotier did it for, I can't remember who, but he did it as well. He received a bulk shipment of 10 plus packages, saved the creator hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But we need someone in the UK to do it, and then we've got pretty much all the major hubs sorted. We can cater to 99% of Comicsgate backers. By taking advantage of the network that we've built up over the last 5 years.
This is why I get frustrated, though, Mike. Right? like we know our shipping is more than what America is used to pay. America is 75% of our market. So what they say goes, right? But in order to be competitive, or at least try to be competitive, we've had to look into heaps of different options. One of which is setting up a business account, committing to shipping a certain amount of comics per year, teaming up together, and possibly with the Bartons to get this done. But it feels to me that a majority of creators from the US haven't put the same sort of effort in trying to make shipping cheaper for people outside of the US. That's my rant.
Are you calling out creators, Rob?
No, I'm just saying that it's
if you don't do what I do,
fair.
you're terrible.
I'm trying to get Rob in trouble, in case anyone's noticed. No, yeah, look, obviously, look, anyone who's run a business or, you know, tried to make money under pressure knows, you really get to sort this stuff out, not when business is great and business is booming, but when business starts to struggle. That's when you start looking at ways to tighten screws and trim the fat and all that sort of stuff. Well, the time has come with the whole shipping debacle that's happened over the last year. And now we're at a point where a lot of the US creators are looking at potentially just what's the option? They either continue to offer, I mean, what was the highest we saw? $1,000 for a comic, like ridiculous amounts.
Good Lord.
Yeah. To get a book shipped out, or figure this out with local guys like myself or Hockey or whoever wants to do it in the UK or France or Canada or wherever. And it can be done. And the savings are significant, and those savings can be passed on to the backers. So I'm hoping that by the end of this year, the word will get out that you don't have to continue charging $25, $35, $40 to ship something to Australia or to the UK or wherever it's going. There's options now, so let's get on it. And Hal RJ from Critical Blast, like, I asked him, because I put out that tweet, and obviously I got back a lot of this is way too much, I'd never consider buying this. Okay, I'll listen to that. I asked RJ, how much would it cost? Here's how much the comic's going to weigh. I would send it to you bagged and boarded. All you have to do is put it in the Gemini mailer, tape it up, label it up, and send it out. And he gave me back a really competitive price. I think I could get a single comic out of Australia, because I want to print locally because quality control and signing and all that sort of stuff. I can get a single floppy comic book out of Australia for $8 US. So, it's not
out of Australia and shipped to the
into the US, tracking included
to the backer though, not to RJ, directly to the actual backer. Yeah, directly
to the backer for $8. So, I mean, I think that's pretty good. I think there's people who are paying $10 domestic. Maromi says, sounds like an opportunity for an importer exporter. This is what RJ's doing. This is what Hockey's trying to set up. It's a little difficult for Hockey because, I mean, he's just noticing a business opportunity, but he doesn't really have he hasn't really built the trust. He hasn't crowdfunded before. He hasn't, done it before. So the trust is a big part of it.
You got a super chat, mate.
Yep. Appointed Law Comics. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for the super chat. Enjoying the stream, guys. I sent an image of my cover and interior page to your Twitter. I was hoping to get your stream's opinion. Thank you. All right, let's check that out. Be careful what you wish for. What are you going to say, Camel?
I think you guys are going about it all wrong. I'm just going to have, pick up only. So if you want your comic, just come to my house.
Come over here.
Yeah. Or we can even start a thing.
Press the
and,
doorbell.
Yeah,
and they'll be in a box out the front.
Show me your receipt, and I'll go get it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Press the doorbell, and Camel throws it at your face.
Get the fuck out.
He doesn't want to touch you. He doesn't want to
slide
see
it.
you.
I'll slide it under the door. Here you go.
Dan Lawler says, "What about printing and shipping each other's books?" I think with that, ideally that would be fantastic, but it comes down to a print quality concern. I'd put my print quality and Bancroft's print quality right up there. I don't know what you're getting in America, so I mean it's probably really good. It's just don't know.
I don't trust anyone else. I
Yeah.
don't have that trust. I don't trust companies. I don't trust other people. You know, I went through every single comic that got sent out. You know, before I put it in a bag, I gave it a look over. I didn't want any nicks. I didn't want any scratches. I didn't want anything like that. So I went in a bag. It's good to go. I can't pay someone else to be that pedantic. That's ridiculous. That's what I have to do. On top of that, one of the things that I think adds value to what we're doing here is the signatures. You know, these are signed items, so you can't do that if you're printing it overseas. That's sort of for more down the line what we talked about earlier. Down the line, the cheaper reprints, the cheaper offerings. You know, at a more that's more about accessibility and affordable prices and stuff like that. This is pretty good. I'm very happy to show this stuff on the stream. Appointed Law Comics.
Buy more books, Rob says Perth. I've got so many books, Perth. I haven't gone through them all though. That's a problem.
Check this out, guys. It's like a painterly sort of thing.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's dope. I like it.
Ooh.
It's
beautiful.
I think it's done digitally. I can see some of the things that I recognize about digital art.
The person in the background looks like you, Mike.
What, the chick?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because she's got the serial killer face.
You just look female.
Rob, you did so well with your joke earlier, and then you just gotta.
You gotta learn to sign off. You know.
Oh,
No,
he's like that
That
guy.
was my
You know
time,
that guy
everybody.
came onto
Tip
the
your
show
waitresses.
that time. Yeah. Just go out on a high, Rob.
Yeah.
Don't
Showmanship.
no.
don't push it.
Drop
Don't
the
push
mic.
your luck. No, the face is good. So I think that's the cover. All right, and then that is the
Way to dox
interior.
everyone's DMs.
If
That's
you don't want
really
to get
nice,
doxed, don't DM me. It's really good stuff. I really like, and Rob likes it because of the blood. I like it because of the rain on the bridge.
Oh,
and the,
how
the
lame.
background.
I get excited to seeing this kind of stuff because, you know, it's some of my favorite creators are doing things that, you know, are not what you think of as typical. Like I love Narwhal stuff. I think that stuff is beautiful. I like to think of my Comicsgate books in a collection, and this looks like something that if it comes together in a book, I'd love to see in a collection.
I
think it's really good.
The second panel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you
Yeah,
get the
there's a
water
joke
drops.
here from Woodrow. Got to bring those K levels down, but I actually do think printing this, just looking at it, be real careful with those with how dark some of these areas are, because it's, you know, I can just see on the page like you could lose all of this, you know, all this detail could disappear. All of this here. You know, especially because you're being quite realistic to the black skin tones. So yeah, you got to be careful. I don't know if you can you zoom in Twitter? There you can. There you go.
Oh wow, nice.
So yeah, like on this arm here, just all it is like you got to be careful with the especially when you do really dark reds too. Other than that, the one criticism I would have is, and this is just me, take it or leave it, I'm not a huge fan of the drop shadow, the fuzzy drop shadow. That's not really
it looks like,
sort of thing.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
other than that, it looks good. Are you going to be running a campaign?
I would say get rid of the white panel gutters because
Oh,
white
don't
panel
yeah,
gutters suck.
yeah. Don't listen to Rob. He has a he has a bug up his butt about that. But
Like only.
no, really good stuff. You never know when people send you stuff,
Mhm.
what you're going to get. That was a pleasant surprise.
But yeah, like just on the shipping, like the final point for me, like I think I'm at the point now. If a single book is above $20 US shipping, I'm out. It's just it's too much.
Well, I'm hoping that we won't be having this conversation.
Me too.
This time next year, it will be completely done and dusted. Other than people saying, "Look, the shipping is an issue with the fact that with all these crowdfunded books, okay, there's nothing we can really do to get around that." But understanding that the shipping will be there, it's as low as we can possibly get it.
Yeah.
And I think we are well within grasp of that now. So that's exciting stuff. We really weren't there at this point last year.
And something too that I think that I was thinking about when you were talking about that is that before we screwed up the launch of Nosfero, which I'm sure you recall, but we were having serious fondly, right? I know. Mel wakes up screaming every now and again, but we were sitting there and we were thinking, and I'm sure everybody feels, well, maybe not, when they press that button, they think, what if nobody backs this book? Like how many people are really going to back it? Like when we were factoring the shipping in, our nightmares, like Lauren asked me, she's like, why are some people only putting $500 as a limit? And I go, well, it helps the algorithm. She goes, we'd be dead if it funded at $500. Like it'd be over for us, to try to make this kind of thing.
We don't. Yeah, we don't recommend the $500 thing to people who aren't essentially guaranteed to be making thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you're not guaranteed, at least $2,000 or $3,000 or something. But you're so right, and that was one of the things that came up in this discussion. That a lot of the reason why the books are priced where they are is because if you were to make it, if I were to, instead of putting out a $15 book, I put out an $8 book. So let's half it almost. I have to literally double the sales. I have to. Otherwise, I'm in real trouble. Do I know I can double the sales? Absolutely not. I don't. I'm sure I'll get more. I know Murph really did well by really being competitive with his pricing. But there's just no guarantee. You just can't know. Yeah. So, you've got to make sure that we're not doing the Kickstarter thing. We're not doing the thing where we're going to be, really struggling, starving artists. Yeah. Like that whole thing needs to be put to bed. If the backers are willing to pay because we're offering great stuff and we're adding extras and all that sort of stuff, then we should feel comfortable charging that. Yeah. And then all those guys who aren't going to pay that because they come from a different mindset, they're from a different field of comics. Let's get those guys in a year's time with the reprints and the omnibuses and stuff like that, or however long it takes. That's my point of view.
Can I ask a question just to the chat? I'd be curious, just because I want to know if there's any fellow nerds. But how many of you guys have backed 2 copies? Oh, can we go back to that piece? Because I was looking down painting. Sorry, can we go back?
What piece?
Not mine. Go to Camels. Wasn't Camels just on screen?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see. I was just looking down working. Can you zoom on that? Awesome.
This one.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I love your colors, man.
Yeah, colors are fun. You get to I like pastels and neons. I think it just kind of makes it pop in a way that is appeasing.
there was this artist that I really loved, and we corresponded for a while. Unfortunately, he died in an accident, which was pretty awful. But his nickname was Flowering Nose. He did a Fantastic Four, kind of a surrealist Fantastic Four book. It was kind of like a Jeff Darrow with a more poppy colored Mobius kind of style.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what his name is and what the title was, but I've always loved that kind of stuff. Are you influenced by European artists or animation or?
I mean, it was funny because Eric Conte, is that his last name? He asked me something similar. Canetti, sorry, yeah. Last episode. And I didn't give him a very good answer because I don't think I understood what he was asking. But I have different styles for different books that I do. So for this book, I kind of imagined it's like all of the Hanna-Barbera stuff that was coming out in the 80s. Like, what if all of those characters had like, their own series, and then they got together, and there was like this cartoon that kind of like glorified all of them together. But those colors back then were on a very specific palette. And so that's what I try to emulate here. But I also tried to make it a little bit more modern. So there's some graphic stuff that I'm doing. Is it like up here? I can show you with the prisms that you wouldn't see back then because they couldn't do it. So, or like even the hologram stuff here. So it's sort of a mixing of two styles, and in a way, kind of a new style altogether. I don't know if that answers.
Seth Fisher was the name, yeah, and that's spot on. Yeah, that's who it was. And I'm totally messing up the chat, saying I'm having trouble mid-sentence. So go ahead, read the chat.
Paul says, my biggest concern with buying future crowdfunded books is inflation and the possible looming in recession. $15, $20 can easily turn into $30 to $35 by the end of the year if things don't improve.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, that real meta economic stuff, I don't think we can either really plan too carefully for or concern too much about. We just have to deal with whatever comes when it comes. I mean, it's a concern to me as well as a backer and a creator, especially in terms of the shipping. Because you charge a certain amount and then prices go up. That's happened to a lot of people. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's my biggest concern, but it's definitely a niggling sort of thing in the back of my mind. Jeremy said, you shouldn't, bank to make profit on your first book necessarily. You should be prepared, he said, to take a loss on that first project. And that's true. Did you guys not say niggling?
No,
it's British. It's Australian.
I winced. I was like, that's a word we don't have.
It's like when I say the
camel
cracking.
Sorry,
can't say that one either.
Cracking. Yeah, that's a. We had a cracker day. Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah,
Camel said that about something I said earlier. It's like, oh, we don't say that, and I was like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was saying that.
Like, what was it?
There's little things because I know you did on the Australia Day. You were like, these are all the terms that we have, and some of them are like, yeah, I've never heard of that. But like just in like conversation that Mike and I have, you say things from like that's not. I know what you're saying, but what was it? You gotta fly the door, and you're like, my head's gonna fall off or something. I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I said this has been doing my head in.
Yeah, that's not like I know what you're saying.
We don't say that.
You never heard that before.
Yeah. No, you just say that.
He knows what we're saying, but they don't say that. So I was like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, just stuff like that. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is, it's true, right? So even if you charge $15 for your 32-page book, you still have to sell. I mean, depending on how much I really factor it all in, it might be 500 copies to break even. So just because it's that and you don't think you can sell 500 copies, that's not a reason to say, well, I'm going to pump it up to 25 so that I can make that amount. That's not what you should be doing. you should understand that, okay, you might only sell 250 copies, and then you're going to have to work off that loss, but grow your audience by doing what you're doing. Lots of people have had to do that. I've been really fortunate that I didn't have to do that. Doubly fortunate that I didn't have to pay for the art, originally. So I mean, I had to put in my time, yes, but yeah. So it is. Dying Days has it. It's something that Niggle is like a. It's like just a little. I don't know.
What? You
guys
niggle
are-
dying?
Camel's looking at the chain rush.
Careful with that word, Bancroft, says
we don't
Mobix.
use
One
that
slip of the
word on this
tongue
stream.
with your reputation. No one will give you the benefit of the doubt. And it's a thing that happened here in Australia. We never had blackface. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a cultural thing. And then all of a sudden, it was this big no-no just because of the kind of globalization of culture.
Pretty much because of Harry Connick Jr. on Hey Hey It's Saturday.
Yeah.
We've got to show the people that clip one day, Bancroft.
No, we can't because we'll get friggin' struck because it's YouTube.
Oh, it's a shame.
And it didn't matter that
I'll put it on
that
Camel
sort of thing. That sort of thing doesn't have the same meaning in Australia. We have imported that, that cultural baggage, so to speak.
Well,
But,
I had to ask my wife after all these photos came out of various people in blackface, particularly the Prime Minister of what is it, Canada? And I said to my wife, I'm like, listen, baby, I just want to know now. Okay?
Baby
like,
doll.
I don't want to see that high school photo. I mean, just tell me now. Like, have you ever dressed up like Aladdin? Have you had any brown face that I don't know about? Just things to keep.
Yeah. What skeletons do you have in your closet?
And she said to me, the kids aren't yours. Like, straight up, that's when I found out. It was rough. But,
Damn,
but
that
I
is-
mean,
that
when I
is
saw
hard.
that, the wokest people in the world, that just cracked me up. I'm like, how is that guy not still dealing with that? That was insane. It's like, oh, God.
Oh, it's that exposes the conceit, the fact that
That's
they'll,
what I mean. They're so full of shit.
essentially forgive anyone who's on their side for any
Yep.
infraction, but the slightest misunderstanding on the other side, and that's what you're tarred with for the rest of your life.
One of my friends, he was at work and he had a black friend there, and he just walked up to him and he's like, "What's up, my N-word?" And
Whoa.
the guy's just like, "Yeah, dude, don't ever do that again."
People are asking what Harry Connick did. Well, yeah, we always had a very famous. It was a popular long-running TV show where people will come on and do their stupid little skits and stuff, like people from the public.
Yeah, like just
And
public
one of
people.
one of the most famous ones was a bunch of guys who got on and did a Michael Jackson dance, and they all dressed up as Michael Jackson and they painted their faces black, and it was never an issue. And it wasn't like a representation. What were these? It didn't look like an old whatever they were back in the Jim Crow in the
Minstrel.
States or anything. Minstrel. It didn't look like that at all. It looked like, a bunch of white guys dressing up as Michael Jackson. And even when, not too long ago, kids would color themselves when they're dressing up as costumes. That wasn't seen as a big thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they did a big reunion thing. So they got back some of the most popular acts to do it again. And they brought in Harry Connick Jr. and he saw it, and because he's American, he was like shocked.
Yeah.
Why would they paint their faces black to portray Michael Jackson? It was like Billie Jean era. They were dressed up,
it's
with
not
the
new
sparkling
Jackson.
glove. No,
Not white
it was like
Jackson.
80s Jackson. No.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was like, he let him have it. I think he even walked off the set. It was a look. A lot of people said he was right to do that. Other people were saying,
He's from New Orleans, though, and that's a huge part of his, his upbringing and his musical heroes, the people he was around. I'm sure. I mean, to me, it wasn't because I've been following Harry Connick since forever, but being from New Orleans and some of his musical inspirations, I mean, I'm sure he's gotten an earful of that his whole life outside of what the popular, stuff is, just as a aside.
Yeah, and at the time, I mean, I think everyone understood where he was coming from, but it's also like, I get that we look like America, not quite. Like we actually don't have many black people here, as in African. Like we have lots of people from India, all over Asia, all that, but not many Africans here. So we don't have, not everything is the same, but I mean we speak the same language. We're a Western nation. We watch all the movies and all. It is very similar. So I get, you come here, you kind of think, okay, well, it's like America light. It isn't. It's a different country. We have a different culture. We have a different history. So I'm not going over to I'm not going over to other countries and imposing my hang-ups on them. I don't yell at anyone in the chat who posts things that wouldn't go down well in Australian culture, because it's not their culture.
I have to be honest with you, though. When you introduced me to a new term that's frowned upon, I was mortified at the explanation. I was like, never heard it before. We'll never use it again in my life.
Which one was it?
I'm not saying it because I know our chat. Love our chat.
What was it, Bancroft?
No, I was excited. I was like, finally, a way I can kind of use it.
Yes.
Dying Days of YouTube
a way I
says
can get away with it.
Bancroft stripped all the Africans from Australia.
Oh.
No, that wasn't me.
Dude, we've gone past 2 hours.
Oh, have we? Okay. I just want to point out, I have noticed and appreciate Camel's use of the chain brush.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that.
It can be used
you did no work today.
Appropriately when sparingly.
I didn't do much work, but I didn't do no work. But I had a good conversation, and so these panels will appear in the painted, when they're finished, will appear in the Painted Death preview trailer, which will be attached to the mailing list sign up. So I'm just very slowly chugging along, getting all the bits and pieces together. So expect to see that.
Mike, right. I've got a serious question for you. Do you think it's appropriate in Comicsgate that you're drawing a character in white robes?
Yes.
Oh, can I please make a comment about that too? Because I have to say this is the one thing I'm waiting for people in CG to jump on board and get, is that when I see people getting canceled and the hashtag believe all women and going after people like that, I always go, Emmett Till was the first casualty of that. And I take, when people say I'm white knighting, I go, you know who the original white knights were in this capacity? I'd love for us to throw that the SJW way one of these days.
Do it.
Yeah, I think we should lean into all that stuff. That's my thing. Like if people tell you something and it's so ridiculous on the face of it, lean into it. I don't give one crap what these idiots. Ethan he was talking about the whole thing with what's his face quartering, and he said these are not just normal
people,
American liberals, or Democrats, or we would call them labor voters or whatever. This is not political. I mean, obviously it is political, but it's not what you're thinking. These people, they're not interested in a dialectic here. They're not coming on to convince or be convinced or anything. They've made up their mind, and then they're holding you hostage to it, and there will be no inch given on their side. So if someone wants to smear Comicsgate as this or that or whatever, I just give them the finger, and I would never, this is what I love, I would never change anything in my book because I'm worried about how it might play off.
Yeah.
It is funny though, when you first come into CG and you see people talking smack about it. You're like, oh no, dude, that's not how it is at all. It's like this, and everything's great, and you just have an open mind. And that's how you come in. Like, you're trying to tell people that's not what they think it is.
Yeah.
And then after you've been here a while and you keep hearing the same things, you're just like, F off, you dickhead.
Yep.
Like, it just completely switches.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's totally right. I mean, I have no inclination to ever defend my position to these people. I never do. I see people out there doing it. I don't tell them not to do it, but I'm not going to be partaking in it.
It's not worth it.
That's the start of Gilgamesh.
Yep.
I like how we each have our very different interpretations of them. It's brilliant.
Yeah, one of them's fantastic, the other one not so much.
It's done by me. I stole that
I'm
off.
going to end it with this. There you go. That's my slogan.
That's
for
right.
This channel. Don't hate, create. I can't remember who I stole that from. Some clever person in the chat. They wrote that. But I'm stealing it. I'm taking it.
Not original.
Going forward.
That's been
I'm
around.
taking it for me.
Okay.
Have you met me before, Camel? You know how I operate? Okay, good.
Mo says there will be no inch given. Bancroft won't entertain a conversation unless he can expect no less than 8 inches given.
Oh my god.
Shanth, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see the progression of the great purple Gilgamesh. I'm guessing that's Enkidu dead.
Good job actually getting some work done,
companion.
Shanth.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on here. It's great to be on here with you guys. You guys are great streamers, and you guys have both done a lot to help get the word out about Nosfero, and I appreciate that stuff. And Killer Moon, it's great to meet you, man. I've been watching your show and dying, laughing, watching it, lurking in the chat.
It's fun.
You guys are awesome.
It's a good show.
It's a great show.
It's a great show. Everybody, I've put the link in the description for Nosfero, which is still funding. And please go back that if you want to help Shanth out. You can go watch him draw it live, paint it live on his channel. It's one of the best channels in Comicsgate. His super chill. You can watch him paint. It's all great. Really good experience. That's on Shanth, and that's on Enjeti Art.
Yeah, and we're almost to 20K, and I have to tell you guys this. I mean, it's amazing, and I have to say this, guys. I love Comicsgate. This is the best experience I've ever had making artwork. I'm so glad to be out of the leftist hell that I have been in for so much of my career, and it's great to be able to laugh and create with awesome people. So thank you guys so much.
What the fuck, Steven? Everybody refund Replicator and Hal Salad and go back and look for Road.
Steven, he goes in hard.
Dude, you know who you have to get on soon? Dan Lawless. I
would love to get Dan Lawless.
Dude, I want to see him
come on. You have an open invitation.
I want to see him do some art, man.
Amen.
I want to invite all these people on to embarrass me.
Can we get Dan on next week, Bancroft?
If you want to come on, if you're available, and
do some drawing, Dan.
Absolutely, do some drawing. Show me up.
We'll take that as in.
As well, Camel Moon, wherever it is. That's his channel, Camel Moon. We do he does Hal Salad is his book. We do Camel Nights every Friday night at some crazy hour for these guys.
1:30 a.m. It's a late show. It's the Conan O'Brien of CG.
Night. Exactly. And it has to be at that time because of what we get up to over there. It's really good stuff. Rob Arnold has a channel called The Replicator. He has a book called Replicator 3. The colors on it are exquisite, if I can say so.
Better than Michael's book, at least.
Well, different. They're different. And Mo says, I want to invite all these people on to embarrass me. Bancroft just took the fun out of roasting him now that he's got a humiliation fetish.
There's 69 people in the chat right now. That's important to point
I
out.
don't know what's going on, but thank you nonetheless. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone sent super chats, especially. That is very generous. You guys are awesome. I will see you in a couple of nights with late night with Comicsgate. I think this week might be the week that I do the big announcement. Oh, actually, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's the week after. This week is the big launch week.
Who's the artist on the project, Mike?
He's a guy. He's got a name. It'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah. So we're doing that. We're doing it'll be a big week of launches this week. The following week, we'll announce the who's working with me on Fractured Mind, and yeah, we'll just all do good stuff. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I will see you soon. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.
I want to say I'm really glad Michael Bancroft is here. I mean this. I feel like, look, I'm an admirer of yours. I like what you've done. You've carved out a path for yourself. I want to be better friends. That's what I want to say to you. Rob, the replicator, I didn't even know you were here. But welcome, my friend. You are an awesome artist, and we're happy to have you here. Wait, are you an artist? You write your own stuff?
He is a good artist.
Okay. Your books are great. Cheers, everyone. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Frank